resigning and his poll numbers plunging, is that he's completely and totally phony. I can't go to Mexico and demand that I be given in-state tuition. They would laugh at me. They would laugh at me in Sweden or Russia. But again, the big banks are the ones financing all of this, and they love the fact we're going into debt. This country is bankrupt if we go down this path. Okay, I know I'm ranting. Let's go back to where he ended off with Vicente Fox. It's too incredible.
Governor Perry and the state of Texas, by having taken that step forward when you decided to give access to Mexican migrants to universities in Texas.
So I want to know how Governor Perry justifies being at a Bilderberg meeting. And also, in my research and reading, I've read that he is interested in joining Canada, United States, and Mexico and developing our currency as an Amero. That doesn't appeal to me at all. I think our sovereignty is very much at threat.
I agree with you. That doesn't appeal to me at all either. And I have no. There's only one thing that you talked about there that it has any truth to it. I was invited by a person to go to a Bilderberg meeting, and I found it to be an interesting group of people. I have yet to figure out why they want to keep secret what they're talking about.
The public plan is to merge our governments with Mexico and Canada and make us all peons on the global plantation. They love it. New York runs Mexico. They have absolutely no liberties. It is the second most corrupt country in the world, according to Encyclopedia Britannica.
And since I confronted Rick Perry and Vicente Fox while he was giving them the award there at the governor's mansion, the full video's up on Infowars.com and our YouTube channel, 40,000 people have died. In fact, it's more than that, 40,000 in the last 3 years. And we're supposed to just ignore all that, but then give our rights up because of the threat of terrorism when we have a better chance of dying from a dog attack or a bee sting. It's very, very clear what's happening. Now, speaking of terrorism, this is some incredible footage that Aaron Dykes and Darren McBreen, our reporters, shot at Operation Mountain Guardian while they were in Denver for this federalization takeover drill that is supposed to reinforce this hysteria and fear of terrorism. This is 4 or 5 minutes of raw footage of women with bombs strapped around their necks, elementary students in fear. This is all part of turning America into a giant re-education camp and fear-mongering. Then we're going to come back from break and get into news of the weird, because there's a lot of really wild stuff being reported right now, from spontaneous combustions in Ireland to faster-than-light particles. It's all coming up on InfoWars Nightly News. And we'll look at the economy, of course, with John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It's a jam-packed news transmission, and it wouldn't be possible without your support as PrisonPlanet.tv subscribers and this great crew. Now, here are some shocking excerpts of the footage that our team shot in Denver. This was done with a school with children in it, some as young as 6 years of age. And they've done these drills in other parts of the country, as you can check with the Associated Press, unannounced, where children are not even told it's a drill. And then they tell them that, well, we did this because of the Second Amendment, or the group that attacked you in this fictitious attack is titled Homeschoolers Against Public Education. And here's the guy dressed up as a returning veteran. And in their drills, they admit that's who they're mainly training to fight, who's engaging in terrorist acts. This woman has a necklace bomb around her neck. And this is Pavlovian. They know the police officers respond to this in their memory sections of the brain as a real attack. So they have to have simulated terror drills in every city and town to create really the racial or national memory of a terror attack. So this is all part of high-tech re-education camp. And he is drilling that he is going around killing, the disgruntled vet is going around doing mock killing of children. And McBreen and Aaron are out there in the control room. I haven't reviewed all this footage yet because we're working so fast, but you guys did confirm to me there were children involved in this as young as first grade. Darren McBreen is nodding his head. These look more like middle schoolers. Oh, these are elementary. This is at the high school. So he went to the high school and the elementary school, and police confirmed to him that they did it with elementary as well. So I guess you were allowed into the high school. Correct. The police confirmed they did it at the elementary as well. There were over 100 agencies involved, over 100 different locations. Oh, no, there's another disgruntled vet, able to catch him on tape. We should have showed the New York Times article where it admitted their main threat is disgruntled vets, and it showed the Explorer Scouts training to take on and kill disgruntled vets. By the way, there was national Fox News was there, a few locals, and nobody else. Some of the areas our crew was barred from entering, like the sports stadium, where they were practicing taking children and others. There's the evil disgruntled vet who just killed all the children in the mock drill. But on this event, our crew was allowed in. And I got snide emails like, why were you allowed in? Well, because we get up off our fat butts and actually get on airplanes and go places. People ask, how'd you get Rothschild on? Well, we had a book out. I called the publisher and said, hey, we want to have him on part of his book tour. You know, we actually got on the field. We actually got in the race car. We actually got up off the bench and were involved in life. I just get so amazed by people sometimes that can't believe the fact that we're a real news organization and actually get things done. Well, the proof's in the pudding, or to say it a better way, you judge a tree by its fruits. We are taking action because of your support and bringing you real news. And I intend, if PrisonPlanet.tv gets enough members, enough support, to actually hire more reporters and actually have crews in different parts of the country every weeknight. Oh, you found the New York Times article where the first line says they're training to take on vets? Okay, then when we come back before we go to break, I'll show you the New York Times article. Wow, this is dynamic footage. We have shown before videos of children unannounced having the police raid them and crying and screaming. And reportedly some of that happened at the elementary school, but we were not allowed into that. This is the New York Times a couple years ago. Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more. And if you scroll down there, it's also got a big photo gallery. It says 10 minutes into an errant mayhem in the town near the Mexican border, a gunman, a disgruntled Iraq war veteran, has already taken out 2 people. One slumped in his desk, the other covered in blood on the floor. When you go to these drills, they're fighting Tea Partiers, they're fighting gun owners. It's also very racist. It's always white male. You've seen the new Homeland Security videos that have gotten national attention. They've now put out more than 15 of them, promo videos that are on TV. And every terrorist is white, and minorities report them. And again, it's about rebranding. First, they sell white folks, hey, it's for brown Muslims. You know, we're only taking their rights because they're playing to white racism. Now they're rebranding it over, oh, it's all the whites, they're the terrorist. And this is just training you. Everybody's a terrorist but Homeland Security. And big sisses at the Walmarts sitting there bossing you around. Okay, InfoWars Nightly News, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come back after this quick break and get into Strange World, as I have dubbed it. A little extra treat that Marcos, our great graphics guy, put together for you. And then we're going to get into some financial news and our big interview with the highly sought-after John Perkins. Stay with us.
Obama is notoriously a liar.
We need to go to where the real architecture of government is, and it's not in a president.
Wall Street has hijacked Washington in broad daylight.
Well, Obama's already fudging. He's fudged since day one in this election.
The elite are using Obama to pacify the public so they can usher in the North American Union by stealth, launch a new Cold War, and continue the occupation of Iraq and Afghanistan.
The globalists are outside all the nations. That gives them safety, and they play countries off against each other.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way.
What they're doing is using the existence of the United States to act out their Wall Street fantasies of world domination and maintaining their capital structures and maintaining their system of looting.
The fight that this country has been waging since its inception is for the central bankers not to take over the country.
President Barack Obama is only the tool of a larger agenda.
Senator Obama had a desire to do some meetings. Others have a desire to meet with him tonight in a private way, and that's what we're doing.
Presidential candidate Barack Obama was publicly criticizing the North American Free Trade Agreement in a bid for votes, but privately telling Canadian officials not to worry about it.
If you talk to our generals, they are desperate for is a civilian counterpart to our military force.
What do you call this thing where you get this false sense of gratification, but because a black man is in office, everything's gonna be all right? No, everything's not gonna be all right.
So I know how unpopular it is to be seen as helping banks right now, especially when everyone is suffering in part from their bad decisions. I promise you, I get it.
The Obama deception. The truth strikes back. Get your copy of The Obama Deception today at Infowars.com or download it in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv. Welcome back. It's the second half of Infowars Nightly News. John Perkins, the economic hitman author, is going to be joining us coming up here in a few minutes, and we'll also look at some of the latest economic developments in Europe as the world is held hostage by the banksters. Turn over total sovereignty and what's left of your rights to us, or we'll give you a depression. And once you give us your liberties, we'll give you a depression anyways. That's what we've done to the rest of the world. But so what? We like you poor. That's coming up. But first, I wanted to get into, well, some news of the weird, to say the least. I've always wondered, reading in different history books from around the world, what would it be like to spontaneously combust? This has happened in public. It happened in ancient times. Asians wrote about it. The ancients in Latin America and Mesoamerica wrote about it. There's famous cases in ancient Europe and even modern England. And there's a new report out on this where the coroner has found that nothing else was damaged in the house, and that this gentleman reportedly spontaneously combusted and completely melted down. Sometimes they even burn holes in the floor. It's like the Wicked Witch or something, just explodes. First Irish case of death by spontaneous combustion. A man who burned to death in his home died as a result of spontaneous combustion, an Irish coroner has ruled. West Galway coroner Dr. Syrian McLaughlin said it was the first time in 25 years of investigating deaths that he had recorded such a verdict. This is Michael Faraday, 76, died at his home in Galloway last year, but it's now been confirmed. The death was attributed by some to spontaneous combustion occur when the living human body is burned without an apparent external source of ignition. I'll tell you what my dad thinks is going on. Well, first, typically, the police and fire investigators find burned corpses, but no burned furniture. My dad has pointed out that most lightning actually comes from the bottom up, from the ground up, and that it's an optical illusion that comes from the top down, because it tends to ionize and energize as it goes up. Some lightning does go from the atmosphere down, and that it's probably people with static electricity or other earth events. You've seen trees hit by lightning that explode and are all charred and black and catch on fire. I know I've seen a big tree struck by lightning and catch on fire and burn. That's probably what's happening here.